Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Primetime Crisis Live. I am Captain Logan, and joining me this week is Steve Baxi.
Hello, everybody.
And Spider Dan Torrey.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, that lag is wonderful. Fantastic. We're off to a great start. This evening, we have more shows than we have so far on this program. We're going to be talking about 4 different TV shows from this last week. We're going to be talking about Arrow, Gotham, Flash, and Constantine, not in that order at all. We're going to start with Gotham here in just a few moments. And before I'm hearing myself like minutes ago. Oh, okay, that's gone now. Good. Anyway, I want to say thanks to everybody who is taking a couple hours out of their busy schedule to hang out with us and to chat a little bit about TV shows. What we always do on this show is we have a chat window open. It's from a different website this time. We're trying this other thing out. It looks like it's working a little bit better than the Chatsy thing did. If anybody has any complaints about it or anything, let us know how it's working for you. If you are joining us for the very first time, you want to go to the description and click on the link for the chat box so that you can hang out and chat with us. We'll be answering your questions and comments a little bit later in the program for each individual segment. What we do on the show is we use you folks as our studio audience, and what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about each show, and then we'll open it up for questions and comments from you, and we will let you folks be part of the conversation, about 20 minutes apiece for each show, and you'll be watching us basically taping an episode of the discussion shows for each of these. Also, we have a poll this week, and the poll is also in the description. We want you to, if you are so inclined, to vote for your favorite episode this week, and you can do that anytime during the program. You can do that before or after you've heard us talk about it. If you want to hear us try to sway you one direction or another, you can wait to vote, or you can go ahead and do it right this very moment. Once again, that poll is in the description, and at the end of the show, we'll have the Cast Your Vote segment, and I will reveal what show I won for this week. Also, at the very end of the program, we will have, right after that, we will do the open forum, where for 15 or 20 minutes, we will talk to you folks about anything else in pop culture that's going on right now that you might be interested in hearing our opinions about. And anyway, thanks very much for being here. We are very excited to see you, everybody watching live, and everybody watching afterwards. Thanks a lot for tuning in as well. We're going to go ahead and start right now on Gotham. And everybody say bye to Dan. Well, Dan's going to stick around. He's going to be here, but he's not really going to say much until we get to Flash. So anyway, hi, Dan. It's good to see you. We probably won't talk to you very much until a little bit later.
Okay.
Agent Carter was not new this week, neither was Star Wars, so Dan's only got one show to talk to us about, and Manos has elected not to be here tonight because he didn't watch any of the shows that we're talking about tonight. So you'll hear from me and Steve on the first 2 shows. We're going to do Constantine right after Gotham, and let's go ahead and just get straight into it, shall we? I'm gonna turn around to my other camera right now, and I'm going to introduce the Gotham discussion show. And once again, we will talk to you folks here in just a few minutes after Steve and I have given our opening statements, and we've talked about a couple of different categories. Steve, are you ready?
I'm all set.
All right, here we go. After my really, really long-winded introduction, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Gotham Discussions. I am Captain Logan, and with me, as always, is the amazing Beware the Steve Baxi.
Hello, everybody.
And as always, we are recording this in front of a live internet audience. Say hello, live internet audience. We'll be taking questions and comments from these folks watching us live here in just a little bit. If you are watching after the taping, thanks very much for being here. We sure appreciate you. And right now, we're going to talk about the 12th episode this season, and this one was called What the Little Bird Told Him. And Steve, we somewhat surprisingly have already gotten to what I thought was going to take like the whole season to get to, with finally playing out the Liza thing and seeing who was going to win between the whole Falcone and Fish thing. Didn't go exactly the way I thought it would, and at the same time, I still feel a little bit strung along. Let's go ahead and get started with our opening statements. And Steve, tell us a little bit about what you thought about this episode, and then give us a best moment or worst moment, will you?
Okay, sure. So I wasn't crazy about this episode. On the second viewing, I realized it was a Ben Edlund script, and that's why some of the one-liners were fun. I've got a good number of quotes because of him. But Mostly, it just wasn't a really great episode. I think the quintessential problem we're facing with this show is that it's going way too fast. There's this issue of, like you said, with the gang war, what we're doing, we got like midway through the season and we already resolved that issue. And it didn't work altogether because it didn't properly build up any other characters. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of machinations. I'm not sure who to root for because we're not getting enough moments with anybody in particular. It's really just kind of crazy, and if you can follow along with some characters, fine. But if you're looking for motivation, go somewhere else. I feel like Bullock's the only guy that's got that right now. I think my best moment right now is Falcone choking out Liza. Not necessarily because it's a great culmination of things, but just because it was really kind of terrifying and sort of reinvigorated his character, even though I don't agree with where it's going. And the worst one has to be that Leslie Gordon kiss, because that's just really, really bad TV drama. I couldn't stand that. I love that actress. I love the actor as Gordon. I just didn't want to see that so soon and out of nowhere.
I agree with a lot of what you said, Steve. I'll go ahead and just say best moment, worst moment real quick because I'm echoing you basically. My best moment was also yours, and for the very same reason. I thought it was tense. I thought that it was nice to finally get this kind of this moment where you get to see this demonstration of power for Falcone like that. And I also like that it took me a minute to realize just how much stuff had happened right then, because some of it's off screen, when he's like, oh, and by the way, Fish, all your people are dead. And I'm like, wow, this is a big show of power. He's taking them all out, and he's going to throw her in some kind of a box or something. But once again, just like you said, not because it was really a great culmination of things. My worst moment was also yours, but more generally, my friends call me Lee. Do we have to do that? Do we have to kind of Laurel Lance thing? Do we have to do that? Why?
I don't know.
Why is she not Leslie? Do we think that's like cool and hip and cute or something? I don't know. Anyway, I didn't really care for that. What's really funny is that my best moment, worst moment, don't really have a lot to do with my overall feelings about the episode. So I wanted to throw those out, and then now I'll kind of get to that. You said that things are moving too fast. I think that's really interesting because I kind of think it's just sort of meandering. I feel like we're kind of just plotting episode to episode. My big thing, and we can talk about this, Steve, is I did not understand why Penguin waited to tell Falcone what he knows about Fish and Liza. Why now? Why wait until Falcone knows that, or I'm sorry, until Fish has made her play? Why are we waiting for that? Does he somehow or rather know exactly what Fish is going to offer Falcone, and that like it's going to be somehow a much worse blow for him once he finds that out? I felt like everything would have played out pretty much exactly the same way if this had happened like several episodes ago. So when you say that things are moving too fast, I don't know that I agree with that. I kind of feel like a lot of this could have happened a lot earlier. So I kind of appreciated actually that we've already gotten to this point, because I thought it was going to stretch out even more. And I think that's maybe for me the best thing about the episode is that I am in a place once again where I don't know where things are going, and that's potentially exciting. Or it's potentially just going to be a lot more meandering and rambly. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't like that Gordon is already out of Arkham this early. I was really excited that he didn't get out of Arkham at the end of last episode, and I thought that the whole thing with the electrocutioner was way too easy. I couldn't get excited about that. I would have, and I'm going to sound hypocritical when I say this, they're taking too long on certain things, and maybe they're doing other things a little bit too quickly. Like the electrocutioner thing, I don't know. I would have let him maybe be a big bad for a couple more episodes or something, or at least made it a lot harder. Or if he had to be taken out this episode, not make it, Gordon gets to go back to the precinct right away. I thought I kind of thought maybe would have been neat would have been if they hadn't managed it in the 24 hours that they got, and then they actually did both get sent to Arkham, and now Bullock's also there. That would have been a nice subversion, that you wouldn't expect. So I don't know. I still am in a place where I just don't know. I don't know how to feel about things. Like you said, I don't really have anybody to latch onto right now. It's very plotty and it's very plot driven. And right now, it's kind of just. I guess the character that I'm supposed to be interested in is Gotham. That's it. The show's called Gotham. The character that I'm supposed to be really interested in and seeing, and it's all an internal conflict, Steve. And that. I don't know. That's the best I can come up with right now. I think Gordon is a little bit all over the place. Weirdly, my worst moment was not Barbara this time, just because I didn't know what to make of that scene. That's kind of put a pin in that, and we'll see where it goes later. It was super awkward and bizarre, and the best I can come up with is, like, her parents seem really snooty and like really kind of, obnoxiously holier than thou and like better than everyone and all of that. Or maybe they just feel the same way I do about Barbara.
I mean, I wouldn't blame her if they don't like their daughter. So she's a really annoying character.
Steve, let's go ahead and go on to quotes. Did you have a favorite quote this week?
I actually have a good number of them. I thought a lot of the dialogue was funny. Near the end, when Gordon gets his badge back, and he says he's been too careful so far, and then Bullock repeats 3 times, "You think you've been careful so far?" Before that, when Leslie's talking to Gordon about the doll and the fact that they would trade candy and sweets for, like, casting curses, and Bullock is, "I curse you all the time, you never give me candy." And then another Bullock line was when he talks to Gordon, he says, "You're like a human roller coaster, except you only go down." And then Nigma says, "Wouldn't that only make him an elevator?"
See, I wrote that down, and then I decided I wasn't sure if I liked it because elevators also go up. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's a strange line. He probably should have said, like, a down escalator or something.
But I mean, roller coasters go up and down, and so do elevators, and so do escalators, and I mean, all that stuff goes both up and down. I didn't really understand that. I mean, Nigma is supposed to be like this super genius who comes up with these amazing riddles, and that's like that's sort of like, I've got this towering intellect, and I think about things on a way cooler level than you guys, and I don't know, man. For this being an Edlund script, I tell you what, if I hadn't read it in the credits, and I didn't the first time, I also watched this one twice, and Steve mentioned to me that it was an Edlund script. I couldn't have told you that. I was actually not real impressed with the dialogue of this episode, which is sad because I love Ben Edlund. I don't think it was terrible or anything, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't notice it was Edlund in the first place, because that might have skewed my feelings about it, because I love Edlund, but I was not impressed with the script.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Spirit of the Ghost.
No, it's no Holy Ghost on a bicycle. There's nothing like that. There's no "That's so Bullock" line in this one. But then again, The Spirit of the Goat was a Bullock-centered episode, so.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of Enigma that you said earlier, what did you think of his cupcake line, or cupcake riddle?
Well, before we get to that, let's real quick go ahead and do comic references and trivia just to stay on track. Were there any comic references that you wanted to throw out besides the whole obvious electrocutioner thing?
Well, besides the electrocutioner, there's Commissioner Loeb, who shows up for the first time.
That's right.
We get a taxi that says Gotham Central.
Oh, that's cool.
And at the end, Penguin gets to take over Fish Mooney's establishment, so it's Penguin's first club.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's pretty cool, Steve. I didn't think of that. Yeah, and that's maybe actually the thing that I'm most excited about, is that Penguin's got a foothold someplace now. Now, are we to assume that he's definitely going to take over there? I mean, I guess he would have to, because otherwise, well, we'll get to this. I was going to say you would expect some kind of a war between him and Maroni right away, but then Maroni doesn't suspect him the way he should, or maybe he does and they're not going to show it to us yet, but he let him go way too easily, and I expected him to send guys following him or something. And
yeah, and I mean, like 5 episodes ago, I would have put a pin in that and said, no, Maroni knows something and we can play it out later. Now I'm not sure if Maroni's just dumb and he doesn't know. Because that's what happened with Falcone several times.
That's the same problem with Falcone, exactly. I mean, they played it up like he knew something about the whole Liza and Fish situation, and he had the whole thing with the chickens, and he was doing all the symbolic stuff, and I don't think that, I guess I'll say this real fast, I don't think that meshes at all with I'm kind of a lame duck, and I'm played out, and I'm old, and I'm tired, and I don't know why I'm working so hard. Those two things don't go together for me, man. He seemed really calculated earlier this season.
Yeah, and I mean, if he's got the ability to just kill everyone in Fish's establishment like that and choke out Liza in front of her, then why did he even consider giving in to Fish's demands in the first place?
Well,
like, he's just so random.
I can appreciate the whole, Yeah, that's kind of what I want too. I can kind of, I sort of like that. I think the idea was that she didn't really put him in an impossible situation. He could have done exactly what he did, because, you know, he did it, and then fixed that for himself. But he was, even before that, he was kind of like, I don't know why I'm doing all this anymore. And so I can sort of kind of appreciate that, because he does keep calling her his favorite. And so he's like, well, if anybody's going to take over, I would give it to Fish. And remember that politics in the city and the way people operate work very differently from any place else, and so that's probably the only way a thing like that would happen, because otherwise it would be like a sign of weakness. So, although I would expect this to be sort of a sign of weakness also, but what does he care if he gets to, you know, live on some land for? It's awkward. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Yeah, I guess you're right there. Because Falcone and Penguin and the whole Liza thing just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to begin with. So no matter what you do, even if it's good, it feels awkward, like you said. We had like a long Facebook conversation about like all the intricacies of what Penguin ought to have done, rather than what he did in this episode.
Yeah, well, hey, we've only got a few minutes left already, so why don't we go ahead and go to trivia questions real quick, and then we'll answer some questions and comments from our viewers. What is your trivia question, Steve?
All right, so my trivia question is, in what other television series has the Electrocutioner appeared?
Ooh, I think I know the answer to that.
Oh,
well, I guess we'll see a little bit later. Yeah, my question is, and this is part of the reason that I stopped you on the whole cupcake thing. My question is, what is sticking out of the cupcake that Nigma gives to Kringle? He says that it's a riddle. I didn't think it was a particularly good riddle, but, you know,
that's a really bad one.
But anyway, there's something sticking out of that cupcake that she says makes it unedible. As always, or as often, it seems like I go to either food, Steve, or music. But there's another food trivia question for you. We will reveal our trivia question, or the answers to our trivia questions, for you here in just a few minutes. And now let's go ahead and go on to the audience. Steve, why don't you bring up maybe another issue for a second here while I take a look at the chat box.
Okay. So one of the weird things about this episode is we're kind of patching up what Gordon had in the episode The Mask, where he's being told by Black Mask that he's kind of like fighting a war and he's still kind of enjoying the battle, and Gordon says no, he's not, but you can tell behind his eyes that he's clearly lying about it. And then we have that brought up again here with the Electrocutioner near the end. I like the idea that Gordon used to be a soldier and he fought a war and was forced to do things he didn't want to do, and now he's coming back and doing the exact same thing in Gotham. But we don't have nearly enough scenes or enough consistency with him being troubled or conflicted or anything about that. And that really bothers me, because we're getting all these weird PTSD-like scenes with Gordon, and they don't earn any of them.
Well, and the thing is, I keep not even thinking about it as PTSD, because I keep having to be reminded that even happened. I mean, it's not been brought up that often. If I wasn't doing the show with you, I wouldn't even remember that had ever happened. I mean, like, it just doesn't come up all that often. And so you're right. You got to keep asking the question: why does he act like he has nothing to lose? Why is he so willing to like risk everything the way he does all the time? He's not smart. He's not careful. And while I do appreciate that they keep calling attention to that fact, and the bullet line at the end is funny, but the problem is, the more they call attention to it, Steve, the less I buy that he's able to get away with the stuff that he's getting away with.
No, yeah, I agree on that. When we get to the end and he tells Commissioner Loeb in his ear that he's going to make whoever tries to take his badge away eat it, I'm not sure how that makes any sense, considering every time he gets manhandled by someone above him, he can't do anything about it, or the situation doesn't work out in his favor. So all of his threats are kind of empty. And he doesn't feel like a loose cannon either.
This is amusing. Karami Head says, Falcone is so dumb he can't tell they're all mispronouncing his name.
Well, that explains that.
AMC Comics, I really appreciate the fact that they revealed that Electrocutioner's alias Gruber was just false identity, and that he had his real comic book name. I was kind of expecting that after we found out that he was the Electrocutioner, but yeah, I'm glad that we already got that.
Well, he's not the comic book Electrocutioner exactly. His name is Jack Baczynski, and there's a comic one that's called Lester, but he also had a brother that was unnamed.
Okay, interesting. DC Marvel fan guy says this is before Riddler Cap, and I'm assuming he is responding to what I said about Riddler not seeming to be as smart to me as they're playing him up to be. I can see why you're saying that, but I feel like the show is playing him like he's a super genius. And
yeah, you get really inconsistent riddles with him, like earlier in the season.
Yeah, I don't think that. What I'm saying is, I think that's giving the show too much credit. I don't think that they. That they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Johnny Torch, Barbara was all right this week. She did nothing outrageous for a change. Well, she didn't get a lot of time to, and she was in front of her parents, and so she had to be a little bit more reserved. And I mean, you know, I still don't like her or anything. It's it's not like she did anything redeemable. It was just she's going to her parents because she has no place else to go, and she's like kind of curled up in a ball, like, no, everything's great, yeah.
Well, it's the one time in the entire series where her scene was not our worst moment, so that's progress.
I don't know if it's progress, though. That scene, I don't know why it was in this episode necessarily. I mean, I get long-form storytelling. Sometimes you will put in a scene and a thing like this to kind of remind us what's going on with another character and push it forward a little bit, but not like a ton. But I'm gonna have to see more episodes before I will buy that this couldn't have easily just been a scene that you put in the next episode, unless we want a lot of time to pass. Because there's that, you know what I mean? Like it is. Again, it is an ongoing story. It's not just individual stories. So maybe you had to have it here because we want her to have been there for a while. But then why not put her there at the end of the last episode or something? I don't know. I'm just saying it was kind of random. It wasn't as random as the Catwoman is slinging around on a roof thing. But
no, it wasn't. And you certainly could have saved it, especially because Bruce and Alfred haven't been in an episode in a couple of weeks now.
And I wanted to mention that does feel kind of weird, and it sort of compounds that issue of who's the show about. And again, I think it is supposed to be an ensemble cast with a whole bunch of different protagonists, but which ones are the more protagonists and which ones are antagonists? Sometimes I can't tell. Is that on purpose? I don't know. I don't know that it is, and that's the problem. But that can be okay. I don't know. I mean, like I always say, you can make anything work. You just got to make it work. And so this is me asking a lot of questions right now. It's a lot of this isn't even judgment calls yet. I'm just like,
yeah, and some of this confusion wouldn't be so bad if we knew where some people were standing, or what their ground was, or like what their motives are.
Yeah, precisely.
I think I'm hearing myself echo, which is weird.
Oh, well, that's no good.
Yeah, I keep echoing myself. It's really weird.
I'm not hearing it on this end, and unfortunately I can't put headphones on because of the way we shoot this show.
Let me try something.
Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Bamboo. Yeah, is no one living in the clock tower apartment now? What's up with that? Good call.
That's a good question.
Is Gordon technically not even living there anymore?
Well, he was there last episode after work.
I mean, I thought he was just spending a lot of time at the precinct, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I'm gonna see if there's anything else in here that folks wanna talk to us about. Folks talk about other things in the comments too.
Jim meets Batman.
AAA1E2R3. Essentially, they are assuming that they're saying the entire precinct was encapsulated by a layer of metal. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that was a little bit strange when he electrocutes the whole building. He's like, "Oh darn, they were just stunned. We didn't kill anyone." That's
I don't think the show understands how electricity works. Because the moment, regardless of the shoes, the moment Gordon picked up his gun, he should have been shot to death.
Should we mention shoes again? This is the first time in a long while, and that seemed to be a motif for a few episodes at the beginning, and then we lost it, and I've been waiting for it to come back again. Now I don't think it was really a motif, so part of that motif so much is just, well, yeah, I mean, you're going to go up against a guy like that, it makes sense to have shoes like that, although...
Shoes saved his life, apparently.
I was going to say, you might want like a whole body shield suit or something. I mean, like, how do you know that he's only gonna electrocute the floor? I mean, yeah, conductor and all that, but you know, if you electrocute a dude wearing shoes like that, it's still gonna be really painful, probably.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got to go somewhere, so he's gonna touch something eventually and electrocute himself.
Yeah, that's what I think. Okay, we are, and that sound means we are all out of time. Steve, final thoughts real quick on this before we go to our trivia answers.
So I don't want to call this a bad episode or anything. It just feels like we're in the middle of a lot, and I'm completely lost, and it's going to live or die based on what the rest of the season's like. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. If we weren't doing this show, I probably wouldn't be watching it until a couple of seasons were over and I had box sets.
Yeah, I want to say I still really like Falcone, at least the actor. I think he gets a lot of great dialogue and stuff. And may I say, I'm excited that he's still around. Like, I kind of thought he'd get taken out at some point, and maybe that will still happen at some point. I don't think Fish is done.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, she's part of the main cast, so we know she's going to probably come back soon enough. And to your point about Falcone's actor, it seems like everyone in this show is well acted except for Barbara. So if nothing else, good performance, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, we were a little bit disappointed early on because we didn't think we'd get to see a lot from him, and he's here a lot. And there are places where almost in a twisted way I kind of feel for him, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff with his mother could have been potentially fascinating. Or it could still be fascinating.
I don't think we've gotten enough about it, really.
Yeah.
Was the flashback at the beginning necessary? Was that just him and his mother watching the funeral of his father? Is that what we're supposed to get from that?
I think so. Maybe like a Godfather thing. I thought the transition from him as a kid to him as the current age was actually pretty effective. But
it
need more of it.
It was effective. I'm just not sure why we had that particular flashback right there. I feel like there's a lot of arbitrary choices in this show.
Yeah. Again, if there was an episode next week and it's like Arrow style, half the episode is Falcone as a kid running around Godfather style, then it could potentially work.
That could be really interesting, yeah.
And they're taking a lot of cues from those films.
Yeah, yes, naturally. Well, let's go ahead and go on to our trivia questions. I'm sorry, to the answers for our trivia questions, and we'll reveal what those are. Steve, what was the answer to yours? Was it Smallville or was it something else?
It wasn't Smallville. It was actually Justice League Unlimited in the episode Cat and the Canary.
Okay, I thought you were talking about live-action shows. I knew it was there, too, but...
Oh, yeah, well, it's just any show in general. I probably should have said that.
No, that's totally cool. I just didn't... I guess I didn't hear that part. Anyway, but I guess I gotta look that up. I thought maybe he was in Smallville, but I just, they did like everybody there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not... I don't think he was in Smallville, but he was. I didn't see the episode with him.
Okay. The answer to my question, with the thing sticking out of the cupcake, it's a live bullet. Specifically a live bullet.
That's an unedible cupcake.
That it is. It's an unedible cupcake. You shoot cupcakes and people can't eat them anymore. Well, everybody, thanks as always for watching. We sure appreciate it. Live, folks, we'll be continuing on with the rest of our show. And if you were watching this after the fact, thanks a bunch for being with us. We sure appreciate it. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about for the next episode of Gotham after you've seen it, and you have any questions, comments, and you want to add to the discussion, you can't be at the live show. All you got to do is go to geekvolution.com and click on the contact page and send me questions and comments there. And in the meantime, we'll see you again next week. I am Captain Logan.
I'm Steve Baxter.
See you later.
Cool.
All right, folks, that's one down. Thanks a bunch to everybody who left some questions and comments. Sorry if we didn't get to all of them. This chat box seems to be working a whole lot better. We currently have about 73 people watching, and 47 of them are in the chat box. So success! Yay! That's really great. If you are watching and you are interested in chatting with your fellow viewers or saying anything to me and Steve and Dan, you can, of course, click on the link in the box, and that will take you to Blue Chat, and you can chat with us here in this little chat box. Once again, if you want to vote for your favorite episode of the shows that we're talking about this week, click on the link in the description for the poll, and go ahead and do that anytime during the discussion. Once again, at the end of the show, we're going to do another open forum, so stick around for that. If you're interested in the order tonight, we're going to do Constantine next, and then we're going to do Flash and Arrow in Arrow order. So we'll bring Dan back in for for Flash here right after we talk about Constantine for a little bit, and then we'll do Arrow right at the end. Once again, everybody, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for spending your valuable time with us. We always really appreciate it. It's always really fun to do this every Sunday night. And Steve, are you ready to switch gears?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready for something good. Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's switch our gears a little bit here. Constantine mode. Let's cast a spell that makes us forget about all the other shows for just the duration that we're talking about Constantine. Steve, can you cast that spell for me?
Yes, I can certainly try, especially if I have Google Translate open to Latin or something like that.
That's awesome. I like your tie, by the way.
Oh yes, thank you. Very, very John Constantine.
It's pretty John Constantine, yeah.
Yeah,
all right, changing the background for Constantine here. All right, I'm so excited that this chat box works and that we can talk to everybody now.
Yeah,
okay.
You can also click on people's names and link to what you're saying. It's awesome.
What do you mean, link to what you're saying?
Yeah, so you can click on their names and then we'll just come up instead of you having to like search for who said what. You can just like send messages out that way.
Oh wow, that's great. Yeah, this looks like a way less complicated chat room, but the features are far more useful.
Practicality.
All right, folks.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and jump into Constantine now. And once again, everybody watching live, if you watch Constantine this week and you want to put your 2 cents in, let Steve and I give our opening statements and go through a couple of categories, and then we will get to your comments here in just a few minutes. All right, Steve. Here we go. So once again, watching us taping an episode of Constantine Discussions. So I'm going to turn to the camera right now, and I'm going to talk to these folks that had better things to do on a Sunday night. Nah, it wasn't better. It wasn't. They sure wished they were here. All right. Here we go. Constantine, let me get my notes up real quick. Hold on, because now that I'm thinking about it. Da-da-da.
Alex says it's Constantine.
Well, I know, but in the show it's Constantine, so you know you're damned if you do it.
Not time. Like Time, constant time.
Oh, is that what he said? Okay, that's hilarious. I thought he was trying to correct me. That's hilarious.
No, he's not trying to correct us. Although that would work, actually.
Alex, can I steal that from you? Because that's brilliant. It's constant. By the way, I should probably do this more frequently. I want to give props real quick to Alex because he designs all of our logos and they're absolutely gorgeous. He comes up with discussion logos based on the logos from the shows, and I just love him for it. And he gets them to me so quick, and he's super cool about it. Some of his work is going to be featured in our documentary, The Midwest in Panels. So look forward to that because he did some really, really cool and funny stuff for that. All right, moving on right now to Constantine. It's Constantine, you guys. Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Constantine Discussions. I am Captain Logan, and here with me, as always, is the amazing Beware the Steve Baxi.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Steve, as always with the show, or at least as usual, we've got another treat. Today we're talking about Quid Pro Quo, and what is this, like fourth from the end of the stretch we have shot so far?
Yeah, this is episode 10, so we got 11, 12, and 13, so I think only 3 left.
So sad, man. I don't want to see this go, and there's still, I don't think, any word about whether or not it's getting renewed. And I know
we'll talk about it, I guess, near the end. But this episode actually has better ratings than last week's, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, that's really good, and I'm glad more people watched it because this is kind of a pivotal one, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and go to our opening statements right away, Steve. Putting 20 minutes on the clock. And Steve, how did you feel about this episode? What was your best moment and your worst moment?
I feel like I'm just echoing myself from every other discussion we did. This episode was amazing. Everything worked. I loved all the characters. End of discussion.
Oh, all right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for watching Constantine Discussions. We sure appreciate it.
No, but I'm glad, and we were talking about this earlier, but I'm glad they made us wait on Chaz's origin. It really did work, and it was really great to see how these two guys worked with each other, what their dynamic was, and their idiosyncrasy before we get there. The thing with Chaz and the 47 lives and how well that parallels to John, about John only having one life, and he's constantly prolonging it, Chaz constantly killing himself, doing the same work, but the difference is just intention. The stuff with John's mother at the end and how Chaz is living for his family but dying from it, and Gon is just living, and it makes this really fascinating, weird contradiction in Jon, where he's best friends with Chaz, and he likes Chaz a lot, and he can support Chaz, but he can't live like him, and it's almost like the universe is telling him not to do that, and it's really kind of depressing. It goes back into like the comics of it's sort of an angry situation, where what can you do but kind of just chain smoke and live your life like a consequentialist. I think my best moment is at the end when Chaz is going to his daughter and he opens the book with all of the names, and he says,
picking mine,
"That was a
dude.
nurse."
Stop picking mine.
I'm sorry, I didn't think it was gonna be mine, but the way he opened it and he said, "This is who that was," it just sent a chill down my spine.
Yeah,
like, oh my god, he cares that much. Wow.
Right in the feels, right? Like,
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't have a worst moment because this show was amazing, and why would I? The only thing I can say I didn't like is I don't think the actress for his daughter was very good.
oh, I thought she was okay. I actually wasn't real impressed with the actress for his ex-wife.
Yeah, she wasn't great either. Those two just kind of felt like they were there for a couple of scenes, and that's really all they did. They didn't do much. Or like her scream when Chaz blew up wasn't great either.
His daughter had a look, though. I like she had a really distinct and almost kind of like classic horror film. The victim girl that can almost see it coming thing. You know what I mean? Like they were playing with that trope a little bit, especially with the doll and all of that. I kind of dug that. You know, they keep subverting that kind of stuff where they'll do it, and then later there'll be some kind of cool like twist, or not a gimmicky twist, but but just something different about it. And this time it was, this is going to be somebody that's actually related to a person that you've been watching on the show, as opposed to just some random person, and I really appreciated that. I'm going to echo a lot of what Steve said. I loved this episode. I thought it was just absolutely wonderful. I think this might be my favorite so far. I was really captivated by it. I think it's because I've been waiting to get a lot from Chaz, and they've made him a very mysterious character. He keeps to himself. You don't really know who he is. You don't know even really what his morality is very much. He seems like in previous episodes, there are moments where I'm like, he seems like a nice enough guy, but let's see what he's actually like. You know what I mean? Like there were always hints that he was this kind of family man, and you had mentions of his family, but there were hints that like he was kind of maybe a pretty kind and considerate guy, and that he had sort of this sense of duty, but you didn't know where it came from. Usually I resist stuff like this, where you in a pilot have this big giant mystery where it's a thing that everybody else in the show, or at least your main characters, well, two of them, because obviously Zed doesn't know. But like your two main characters in the show know that he's not immortal and why he's able to keep dying and come back from the dead. But this show gives the audience a lot of credits so much of the time that I kind of bought that there might be a good reason for it, and ultimately there was. Not only that, but it was especially satisfying. It was exceptionally satisfying. When we finally found out what it was, I'm glad I had to wait for it, because it was a really cool reveal that he's got all these souls in him, and he can only die a certain number of times, and it's like he's a cat times like what? 5. I thought all that was really neat, and the reason I like it, the reason I like being, for lack of a better word, strung along on that particular point, the reason it works here and it doesn't in other places is that it doesn't come off as a gimmick. It doesn't come off like they think that's the only thing that you're coming back to find out. When would anybody have ever brought it up? I mean, that's what I really like about it, is that this show doesn't do a lot of clunky expository dialogue. They give us enough credit that we'll get things when we need to get things, and they're not, the only time that people really explain things to each other is when somebody is standing there that legitimately doesn't understand and doesn't know a thing. And they wouldn't have any reason to tell Zed about this yet. It's a very personal thing for Chaz. I don't think he really wants people to necessarily know about it. I think he's not embarrassed. Maybe that's not the right word, but I mean, like, I think he feels bad about it. It's kind of his curse. And so anyway, I really liked all that. I liked his whole sense of duty and responsibility thing. I liked that once again he's another casualty of Jon's. And you're right about the contrast between their motivations, the reason that they each do what they do. One of them is motivated by guilt, and the other one is motivated by a sense of responsibility. Chaz has more of a Spider-Man thing going on than a Batman thing, and I really like that. Oh, he's so likable. Like, give him his own TV show. I mean, I really, really liked this guy. Also, thought it was super cool that the bad guy in this was played by the Belding guy from Breaking Bad, and he was super,
great.
He was super creepy as always. I'll go to my best moment, worst moment, real quick. I had a couple. My big one, just like you, was the photo album. I couldn't believe you said that, Steve. That's like a blink.
I didn't think it was going to be that good, but man, it was.
I wrote it down. But like, you know, you find out that he went and researched and figured out who all those people were, and I mean, like, oh, it just hit me in a place. I also, on a more superficial level, really liked the invisible lion-like dream demon. I thought that was a really cool.
Oh yeah, that was
fact. My worst moment is super minor, Steve. I did not understand, and unless this is again a thing that's part of the mythology that John Constantine hasn't felt the need to come out and tell me about, why was he so quick to say that it must be a man who had stolen the girl's soul? He says that several times before we finally find out who did it, and clearly he didn't know that it was the Faust guy. And because they have to go figure that out and reason it out, and so he keeps saying it's a man. How can he be sure it's not a demon or something? I didn't get that.
That's a good question. I think it may be just because like the type of spells he was using and stuff. Because I've noticed with this show, they'll just use magical things that are real in occult mythology and not explain them. So it might be something like that, like maybe something just from the words you can inference, and the showrunners are really good about that. So like the stone he was using, they'll tweet what that actually is and where that comes from and why it's real. So maybe it was just one of those things.
I get that, but the problem is you would have to say either that the way it was done was clearly an incantation that only a human being would come up with, or you'd have to say that demons are not capable of collecting souls like that. And I don't know that that's true. I don't know that we've dealt with it yet.
Yeah, it's a reasonably well thought question. I'm not entirely sure what to get out of free carded for that show with this.
The other thing, and this wasn't a moment so much as just a general complaint, I thought that some of the dialogue was kind of mumbly in this episode. I kept wishing that I had subtitles, and it's not just a me thing because my wife had it too. She looked at me about halfway through and said, "Are you having a hard time picking up on some of the dialogue?" And I said, "Yeah, I thought it was just me."
Yeah, I kind of have the same thing. I'm kind of chalking it up to the same thing. Like certain people think the scenes are too dark lit. Maybe it was just an audio thing or like the TV screen you're watching it on. But it's hard to say without like a second opinion somewhere else.
Well, I mean, I'm going to count you as my second opinion. They either mix the dialogue wrong, or it's just a kind of. Well, see, I want to chalk it up to a European accent thing. Because sometimes British accents, and I forget what is he, Welsh?
Yes.
So sometimes it'll be kind of like speaking another language where anybody that grew up with him, no matter how much you thought he mumbled, would know precisely what he was saying, right? But I haven't had that in a lot of other episodes, and it wasn't just with him either. It was with Zed and stuff too.
And I had a little bit with Faust as well.
Yeah, so did I. So it might have been the way the sound was mixed. And I'm with you. I've been having that problem in the last couple episodes with the dark thing. We said early on, I think me and Eric, that we didn't have that problem that other people were with how darkly lit it was. I did this episode.
Yeah, it's been like that, I want to say, like, a couple of episodes before the finale onward. It's just kind of been consistently really darkly lit. I'm not sure what they changed up, or if, like, their budget shrank, or what.
Minor complaints, though. I mean, the rest of the production quality is really great, and the script is excellent, and, of course, the acting is always top-notch. And the most sophisticated of these shows that we're watching right now, I believe.
Yeah, this and Agent Carter are some of the best we've gotten in a while.
I'm going to see if folks have questions and comments. Steve, would you please tell us your trivia question for this week?
Okay, so my trivia question is, this book is based on the Hellblazer story, All His Engines. And Felix Faust is in this episode, and he replaces another character. So my question is, who was the original antagonist of All His Engines?
Ooh, that's cool. My question kind of naturally is, how many souls does Chaz still have left after he gets killed at the end of this episode? And
I'm about to tell you a trivia note after we get the answer to that, because it's really funny when you find out where that comes from.
And spoiler alert, brought back to life. He doesn't just die. comes back to life. I think I'm right about the number. I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong about it, but that's my trivia question. Okay, anything else you want to bring up about the episode, Steve? I'm looking for questions and comments, but I don't think as many people live watch this show as watch some of our other shows, so I'm not seeing a whole lot of stuff yet.
Right. Well, another best moment I wanted to mention that I didn't talk about, but I did see in the comments somewhere, was when, right after we get the scene with Chaz, we get that scene in the hospital with Zed, and she tells him that his mom was to blame for her death, and then John just has a look on his face and just lays there on the bed, and there's like a hint of a smile before the episode ends. I thought that was fantastic.
That was really good, yeah. And again, I don't think it comes too far out of nowhere. What she did could definitely get her to where she would see his mom. I guess I could buy that. It did seem like kind of easy setup for where we're going, but yeah, it was reasonable. Steve, are you there? I think Steve may have frozen up on me here. Dan looks frozen up too. Hope everybody can see me. Steve? Folks, can you see me? Am I still live? We seem to be having some technical difficulties here. Everybody give me just a couple minutes here if you can hear me, if you can see me. This is problematic. Am I having internet issues? Okay, so I guess people can still see me. Okay, everybody sees me. Okay, good. I thought it was maybe on my end. All right. Well, then I will just hang out here for a second and hope that Steve comes back. But Dan looks frozen too, so it's kind of weird. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll close the timer here. Steve?
Can you hear me?
Dan?
Yes.
Okay, I hear you, Dan, but I can't see you. This is really funky weird. We've lost Steve apparently.
No.
I thought I was messed up, and maybe nobody could see me, but apparently I'm fine, but everybody else dropped out.
Oh, weird.
But I can't see you at all, Dan. Your head's still frozen. So anyway, this is really, really strange, and we may have to stop and start back up again.
Yeah, Steve's box looks like just a black screen to me right now.
Oh, weird.
I have no trouble seeing you. You're fine.
Wow. Okay, that's really bizarre. Okay. Well, I'm gonna make a judgment call and stop the broadcast and try to restart it.
Okay.
So everybody, give me just a couple minutes, and we will try to bring this back and finish up Constantine discussions. Give us just a couple minutes.